After observing for a time, Han Li lifted a brow and said calmly, "These attendants are all puppets." "That's right, every single one," Taoist Huyan confirmed after a closer look. As they spoke, golden radiance gathered high above, dense golden clouds rolled in, and the pill tribulation that had manifested outside long ago finally revealed itself within this hidden realm. Han Li pinpointed the heart of the golden clouds and looked down, and looked down. At the summit of the tallest peak stood a resplendent golden palace, crowned with a round dome. Two figures were on the plaza before it, their bodies glowing with bright blue light as streams of invitation seals struck the palace gates. "Luo Qinghai has already begun breaking the restriction. Let's go," Han Li said. "Very well," Taoist Huyan replied. Just as his words fell, space rippled more than 1,000 feet away. Feng Tiandu and Qi Tianxiao emerged, Feng Tiandu giving Han Li a brief glance before flying straight toward the plaza. Seeing this, Luo Qinghai frowned slightly. How did they find this place? Could one of them also possess void spirit eyes? "What should we do? Palace Master, the restriction is nearly undone," Nan Kemeng asked. "No matter. Entering the palace comes first," Luo Qinghai replied. He thrust both palms against the gates. From his leading hand shot a blue leaf inscribed with silver patterns, which pressed itself onto the gates. Blue light flared as the leaf dissolved, the silver markings weaving together into intricate runes that spread across the surface. Moments later, the runes fractured into cracks, and with a sharp crack, the golden gates shattered. Just as Luo Qinghai and Nan Kemeng moved to rush inside, Feng Tiandu's voice rang out behind them. "We all worked together to reach this point. Surely you don't plan to take everything for yourself?" Luo Qinghai smiled. "Of course not. I merely arrived first and acted for everyone's convenience." At that moment, Han Li and Taoist Huyan descended before the palace. Luo Qinghai smiled at them, while Feng Tiandu remained expressionless. Before anyone could speak further, 4 more streaks of light arrived. The 2 Southern Dawn race Golden Immortals and Ouyang Quishan's group landed as well. The elderly Southern Dawn woman snorted coldly, while Ouyang Quishan nodded subtly to Taoist Huyan, who had secretly guided them here. Once again, all parties gathered. Suddenly, the golden clouds above churned violently, spreading to fill the heavens and bathing everything in dazzling radiance. Immense energy fluctuations rolled outward, instilling unease even in the golden immortals. The sky felt unbearably heavy, as if it were about to collapse. Thunder roared. A massive golden vortex formed, spinning furiously. At its center, silver light condensed into a gigantic droplet streaked with lightning. Terrifying spiritual pressure descended, engulfing the entire palace. Han Li saw countless runes carved across pillars, doors, and windows, now shining like stars. Rings of patterns covered the floor, guarding a jade-like pill cauldron at the center. The cauldron stood over 7 feet tall, 3-legged with twin handles. Flames raged within, yet no heat escaped. 9 lifelike coiled dragons adorned its body, all gazing upward toward a 3-legged golden crow atop the lid. Through his bright sight spirit eyes, Han Li saw wisps of white light flowing from the crow's legs into the cauldron. The vortex above flared, and the silver droplet fell, smashing into the palace roof. Silver lightning exploded outward, shaking the world. Everyone retreated in alarm as the palace sank under the impact, as if crushed by a mountain. Yet in the next instant, all the runes ignited. Golden light surged upward, entangling the silver lightning. The palace blazed like a golden sun, dispersing the crushing force. Even so, a pillar of silver light pierced through the roof and struck the cauldron. A dull thump echoed as the ground runes lit up, golden barriers rising to channel power into the cauldron. The dragon's eyes glowed, white pillars blasting from their mouths to clash with the silver beam. Watching from outside, Han Li was awestruck. The infernal frost immortal lord's handiwork was astounding. Puppets that gathered ingredients, refined Tao pills, and a palace capable of resisting tribulation lightning. Was the old Taoist truly an unparalleled genius? His thoughts drifted to the sealed soul fragment within his burner, pondering whether to lift the restriction. Taoist Huyan's voice snapped him back. "The tribulation is ending. Be ready." Indeed, the silver lightning faded, smoke curling from the palace as a scorched scent spread. The palace shone brighter than before. "Go!" someone shouted, and everyone rushed inside. Within, the silver pillar had vanished, though golden barriers still protected the cauldron. Gray stone statues lined both sides, weapon-bearing puppets radiating spiritual power. Behind the cauldron stood a raised platform with a grand golden chair carved with dragons and phoenixes. Seated upon it was a middle-aged man in a dark green Taoist robe, eyes closed, posture relaxed. At first glance, he seemed a corpse, yet his chest rose and fell faintly, like a living dead. Just then, a five-colored cloud rose from the cauldron. One dragon flashed with silver light, and a long-incised silver pill flew from its mouth. A powerful fragrance filled the hall, drawing fervent gazes from all present. "Wait!" Luo Qinghai shouted. "Those golden rings form a protective array. Charge in recklessly, and the entire cauldron may be destroyed." "The pill is formed. Who cares about the cauldron?" The Southern Dawn Elder snapped, stepping forward, only to be blocked by a blue barrier. "Is it finally time to fight?" The elderly man laughed. Han Li and Taoist Hu Yan exchanged a glance and gathered their immortal power. In an instant, the palace was filled with suffocating tension. "Let us all remain composed," Luo Qinghai said hastily, his tone measured yet urgent. "I am not stepping in to stop anyone from contending over a single pill. I merely wish to prevent the other 8 high zenith pills from being ruined for the sake of one." Feng Tiandu lifted a brow. "Oh, you mean to say there are 9 high zenith pills within that cauldron?" "Precisely," Luo Qinghai replied. "If my judgment is correct, this is the 9 jewel-bearing dragon's cauldron. It yields 9 pills in every refinement, 1 from each dragon's mouth. However, they do not emerge simultaneously. We must wait until all 9 are complete." The elderly woman nodded thoughtfully. "I recall legends of this cauldron as well. It was said that an ancient supreme expert gathered priceless treasures of the true immortal realm, along with true spirit souls, to forge it. It contains a mysterious law that harmonizes ingredients to an extraordinary degree. To think such an object would appear here." At her words, the tension eased slightly, yet greed flickered unmistakably in the eyes of those present as they gazed upon the cauldron. "Then we face another dilemma," Feng Tiandu said slowly. "There are 10 of us, but only 9 pills. How shall they be divided?" The atmosphere instantly tightened once more. "That is no issue," Luo Qinghai said with a faint smile. "As I stated earlier, my purpose in entering the Infernal Frost Immortal Palace was merely to broaden my disciples' horizons. That goal has been met. Vast Flow Palace will claim only a single pill, and thus all is balanced." Shock and confusion rippled through the crowd at this declaration. At that very moment, the golden light barriers around the cauldron dissolved. A golden humanoid puppet stepped out from behind it, calmly plucked the silver pill that had just emerged from a dragon's mouth, then turned and returned to its massive golden throne. Perplexed, the others nonetheless followed its movements. Suddenly, an enormous surge of black mist erupted and swept over everyone like a tidal wave. It felt as though they had sunk into a viscous swamp. Movement became sluggish, and even the circulation of immortal spiritual power was greatly impeded. Han Li felt the same restraint, yet his time law powers remained untouched. Azure light shimmered over his body as he forced the black mist away. Turning his gaze, he saw the source clearly, Feng Tiandu. Black chi billowed from Feng Tiandu's form, expanding into a dense black spirit domain that enveloped them all. Though compact, covering less than half the palace and avoiding the golden array around the cauldron, its suppressive power was terrifying. Han Li's eyes narrowed. Compared to the spirit domain Feng Tiandu had displayed against Xiao Jinhan, this one was vastly more formidable. It was obvious that Feng Tiandu had concealed his true strength before. Luo Qinghai's genial smile vanished. "What is the meaning of this, Feng Tiandu? Do you intend to monopolize the high zenith pills?" Radiant blue light whirled around Luo Qinghai as a blue spirit domain erupted outward, waves surging violently within it. Though slightly inferior to the black domain, it was not far behind, and it managed to scatter the black mist somewhat. Simultaneously, Taoist Hu Yan and the elderly woman unleashed their own fiery spirit domains. Together, the 3 domains repelled much of the black domain's pressure, easing the burden on the other golden immortals. Seizing the chance, the golden immortals summoned immortal treasures and launched a barrage at Feng Tiandu. Han Li also released an azure bamboo cloud swarm sword, which expanded dramatically and joined the assault. Even restrained, its might rivaled the finest treasures present. Feng Tiandu sneered coldly and swept his sleeve. 16 thick black chains burst forth, each inscribed with countless translucent runes and radiating fearsome law fluctuations. These chains were far stronger than those he had revealed before. With thunderous booms, the chains smashed aside every incoming treasure. As they appeared, the black spirit domain pulsed and grew denser, crushing down upon the opposing domains and once again amplifying its suppressive force. It felt as though a mountain pressed upon everyone, rendering movement extremely difficult. Your spirit domain has reached the spirit form stage, Luo Qinghai cried out. Without hesitation, he shot toward the edge of the domain, and the others scattered in different directions. Having witnessed Xiao Jinhan's spirit form stage domain before, they knew its terror, and Feng Tiandu's seemed even more fearsome. Fortunately, to avoid triggering the cauldron's restrictions, Feng Tiandu had kept the domain small, making escape possible. Han Li recalled his sword and fled in a streak of golden light, channeling time law power into his azure bamboo cloudswarm swords. Golden lightning lashed out, tearing at the black domain ahead. At the same time, Jin Tong burst forth, transforming into a massive golden beetle. With a sweep of her forelegs, countless translucent streaks shot out. Together, they ripped open a gash in the black domain and rushed toward it. You won't escape, Feng Tiandu snorted, forming a hand seal. Two black chains flashed into existence around him. The sealed origin separation law chains. Han Li's expression changed sharply. He tried to evade, but it was too late. The chains shot out like lightning, binding both him and Jin Tong, freezing them in place. With their appearance, the spirit domain grew even denser. In the next instant, the 16 black chains shot outward and vanished, only to reappear throughout the domain, interweaving into a massive cage that trapped everyone within. Each person was ensnared by several chains, like insects caught in a spider's web. Bound as well, Luo Qinghai remained composed. Even with a spirit form stage domain, you cannot sustain this for long without exhausting your law powers. Do not lose heart. Blue light erupted from him as wave projections clashed violently against the black chains. Though the origin separation law chains sealed immortal spiritual power, they could not fully suppress law powers. Encouraged, the other golden immortals unleashed their own law powers. The black cage trembled and rattled, forcing Feng Tiandu's complexion to pale. He snorted coldly and spat out an egg-sized orb of blood essence, sending droplets into every chain. The black cage flared with renewed light and stabilized once more. Unlike Xiao Jinhan, who relied on external support to reach the spirit form stage, Feng Tiandu sustained his domain through sheer personal power while facing numerous golden immortals. The strain on his immortal and law powers was immense. All of you shall witness my ascension to the high zenith stage today, Feng Tiandu declared coldly. For that honor, I will grant you swift deaths in your dreams, Luo Qinghai roared. Even if I must sacrifice my entire cultivation, I will not let you succeed. He expelled blood essence of his own, shaking the black cage violently once again. The high zenith pills lie before us, the elderly woman shouted fiercely. Will we stand by and let Feng Tiandu claim them all? The Southern Dawn race will fight the Dawnfall sect to the death. With that, everyone redoubled their efforts, struggling desperately against the black cage as the battle reached a fevered pitch. I will hold them here. You go and secure the high zenith pills, Feng Tiandu said calmly to Qi Tianxiao, his gaze never once shifting toward the other golden immortals. Senior marshal brother, why not slaughter them first, and then claim the pills at leisure? Qi Tianxiao transmitted, a chill glint flashing through his eyes. Seize one or two pills first, though they are trapped by my hand. Killing them all will not be easy. The pills take precedence, Feng Tiandu replied without hesitation. Qi Tianxiao inclined his head, then shot forward in a blur, streaking toward the golden puppet. By then, the puppet had already advanced far ahead, less than 10,000 feet from the towering golden chair upon the raised platform. Rising into the air, Qi Tianxiao swept his sleeve. A streak of gray light burst forth, revealing a gray flying sword. The blade flared brilliantly, then shattered into dozens of fine gray threads that screamed toward the puppet in unison. At that instant, the golden patterns carved into the ground blazed. A pillar of white flame erupted upward, spreading into a blazing wall that barred the way. Scorching heat roared outward, twisting space itself. The gray threads touched the flames, and vanished, burned to nothing. Qi Tianxiao's expression tightened as he halted midair. The golden puppet, indifferent to all of this, continued its heavy march toward the chair. Qi Tianxiao's gaze flicked to the middle-aged man seated upon the throne, and an ominous thought struck him. Was the puppet intending to deliver the high zenith pill to that living corpse? Alarm surged through him. No one could predict the consequences if such a pill were consumed. Though his corrosive laws were restrained by flames of this nature, retreat was no longer an option. He had to force his way through. The distance closed relentlessly. 400 feet, 350, 300. Cold sweat beaded on Qi Tianxiao's brow as his thoughts raced. Abruptly, he slapped a hand to his waist. A white ring flashed into his grasp. Pain flickered across his face as he hurled it outward, his other hand forming seals at blinding speed. The ring blazed with dazzling white light, swelling several-fold as countless runes poured from it. Light gathered at its center, twisting into a white vortex that pulsed with powerful spatial force. Outside the High Zenith Palace, cultivators had long since taken their seats. The stone gate stood open, white radiance within so brilliant it stung the eyes. From time to time, greedy glances flicked toward the gate, yet no one dared move. Not long after Han Li and the others entered, the vast Flow Palace forces arrived as well, led by the fair-skinned scholar. After brief deliberation, all sides reached a fragile accord. If any faction attempted to enter the palace, the rest would strike together. The vast Flow Palace held the strongest force, boasting 4 golden immortals and several true immortals. The Dawnfall sect followed with 3 golden immortals. Yun Ni and another Blaze Dragon Dao Lord stood apart, forming a triangular balance with the 2 major factions. Just then, 2 Dawnfall sect golden immortals exchanged a look. One of them spoke up. Fellow Taoists, those inside won't be emerging anytime soon. Waiting here achieves nothing. This mountain range may hold other treasures. Why not leave some guards and explore? Unease rippled through the group. Guarding this place was their foremost duty. Wandering off was unthinkable. Not interested, the fair-skinned scholar replied coolly. If you wish to go, go alone. Yunni and the Blaze Dragon Dao Golden Immortal remained silent, their intentions clear. So be it, the Dawnfall sect Golden Immortal said. He rose with his companion, and the 2 streaked into the distance, vanishing from sight. Yunni frowned faintly as she watched them depart. Once beyond the reach of others' spiritual sense, the 2 halted and descended to a concealed spot. One produced a white ring, and together they cast seals into it. The ring expanded rapidly, white light surging as a vortex formed within. Without hesitation, both flew inside. The ring cracked instantly, shattering into motes of light. Within the High Zenith Palace, Qi Qianxiao hovered midair, seals flashing between his fingers. 2 streaks of light burst from the white ring before him, resolving into the 2 Dawnfall sect Golden Immortals. From afar, Han Li and the others watched, their expressions darkening. The ring cracked apart and disintegrated. The 2 newcomers stared in shock at the scene before quickly saluting. Greetings, Sect Master, Grand Elder. Spare the courtesies. I need you to unleash your Sun Moon Chaos arts and help me break this wall of fire, Qi Tianxiao ordered. Understanding the urgency, they split apart at once, chanting in unison as black and white light surged from their bodies, each radiating powerful law fluctuations. Han Li watched intently. These fluctuations were unlike any 5-element laws he knew. The white light shone like blazing sunlight. The black light was deep and solemn, yet neither cold nor sinister. Yin and yang? Han Li pondered. At that moment, Jin Tong's voice rang in his mind. Uncle, you're not really trapped by these chains, are you? Han Li turned. Jin Tong was struggling fiercely, golden light flashing from its claws as it hacked at the black chains. Yet the chains did not budge, forcing it to glance at Han Li in frustration. Han Li only gave it a subtle look. Delighted, Jin Tong urged, so you can break free. Hurry and release me. I'll go kill that old zombie. Quiet. The situation isn't clear. We wait, Han Li transmitted sharply. Though his immortal power was suppressed by the origin separation law chains, his time law remained usable. Breaking free was possible, but not now. As they spoke, the 2 Dawnfall sect Golden Immortals roared in unison. Black and white pillars of light surged forth, intertwining before merging into a single black and white vortex. With rapid hand seals, the 2 law powers fused, swelling the vortex as its might doubled. Han Li felt a stir of enlightenment. Two distinct laws enhancing one another. This was something he had never seen. A key insight brushed his mind, though he had no time to pursue it further. The vortex spun furiously, colliding with the wall of fire. Flames surged forth, seeking to devour it, yet the vortex only grew more radiant. Moments later, it punched clean through, carving open a black and white passage. The golden puppet was now within 150 feet of the platform. Qi Tianxiao shot through the passage in a flash, racing toward the puppet. With a sweep of his sleeve, the gray jade scepter flew out and expanded to the size of a house. Dense gray mist churned around it, runes flickering as it smashed downward. The two Dawnfall sect golden immortals followed, bursting through the passage. Each spat out a triangular flag, one white, bearing a blazing sun, the other black, emblazoned with a moon. Seals were cast. The flags transformed into two massive orbs of light, a sun within one, a moon within the other, their auras shaking the air as they thundered toward the golden puppet from both sides. At that very instant, the golden puppet abruptly twisted around, its wooden features fixing upon its attackers as blazing golden radiance erupted across its body. Veins of golden lightning spread like living dragons, crackling thunderously as dense arcs burst forth, runes dancing wildly within them and exuding terrifying law power. With a heavy motion, the puppet raised its arm and hurled a punch. A massive bolt of golden lightning roared out, smashing straight into the gray jade scepter. A deafening explosion shook the air as the scepter convulsed violently, spinning backward through the void. The gray mist surrounding it was shredded, its spiritual glow scattering as its essence suffered clear damage. The puppet itself staggered, retreating several steps before regaining its footing, while the lightning engulfing it dimmed noticeably. Seeing this, the two Dawnfall sect golden immortals were overjoyed. The twin spheres of light under their control instantly transformed into enormous black and white hands that lunged toward the golden puppet. Yet in that same breath, two gray humanoid figures glided in like phantoms to stand beside the puppet. The stone statues flanking the palace had come alive, yellow spirit patterns flooding their bodies as radiant light and immense law fluctuations surged forth. Each statue gripped twin yellow sabers, slashing them through the air. Twin arcs of colossal saber light crossed midair, forming massive intersecting sigils. Serrated edges bristled with menace, their crushing law power warping space itself. Two thunderous booms rang out as the giant hands were obliterated, reverting into battered flags that flew backward. The gray statues stood unmoving, like ancient peaks rooted to the earth. Qi Tianxiao's group stared in stunned silence, as did Han Li and the others. Without pause, all the gray statues lining the palace shot forward, some 40 to 50 figures converging at its center to encircle Qi Tianxiao's trio. Trespassers must be killed, they roared as one, voices scraping like steel on stone. Violent sound waves swept outward, the palace trembling as visible ripples crashed down upon the three golden immortals, making their bodies shudder in agony. Brilliant yellow light erupted from the statues, linking together to form a vast go-board projection that sealed the trio within. Every line pulsed with crushing law power, layering upon itself until it felt as though countless mountains bore down upon them. Even with golden immortal cultivation, they were completely immobilized. Blades flashed. Dozens of puppets struck simultaneously, unleashing a tempest of saber and sword projections. At the same time, the golden patterns on the ground ignited, white flames surging upward to drown the go-board in a blazing sea. Scorching waves rippled outward, distorting space itself. Even from afar, Han Li and the others felt the searing heat. The entire slaughter unfolded in the blink of an eye, leaving them astonished and faintly satisfied. "Thank heavens you didn't free me, uncle. It's much safer here than over there," Jintong muttered, fear still lingering. Han Li remained silent, his thoughts unreadable. Feng Tiandu's expression darkened. Bound by his own chains, he could not aid his allies. Regret gnawed at him. Had he known of such fearsome restrictions and puppets, he would have let Luo Qinghai test the waters first. Now, driven by greed, he had alienated everyone, leaving no path to reconciliation. Caught between enemies and ancient defenses, they were truly trapped. Just then, the sea of fire rippled. A streak of gray light burst forth and landed near the palace gates. It was Qi Tianxiao. His body was charred black, hair mostly burned away, blood trailing from his lips as he staggered, terror flashing in his eyes. The white flames quickly receded into the ground, vanishing without a trace. The two great flags drifted down, their light extinguished, clearly ruined. The other two Dawnfall sect golden immortals were gone entirely, bodies, nascent souls, and treasures reduced to nothing, leaving only their resilient immortal artifacts behind. Feng Tiandu's face grew even darker. Han Li and the others were equally shaken by the white flame's might. Soon, the yellow light faded from the statues, the go board dissolving. One by one, the gray figures returned to their original positions, standing silent once more as though nothing had occurred. The golden puppet strode forward to the golden chair. The silver pill slipped from its grasp and entered the living corpse's mouth. A gentle green glow spread over the body, fading moments later as its aura rose slightly. Everyone watched in astonishment. Then another dragon, carved upon the pill cauldron, opened its mouth, releasing 5-colored light. Almost simultaneously, a second dragon followed. A vast golden cloud formed above the palace, spinning into a towering vortex. Its aura dwarfed the previous pill tribulation. Crushing pressure descended, stealing breath as if a mountain pressed upon every chest. Feng Tiandu bore the brunt. His spirit domain trembled as his face turned pale. Seizing the moment, Luo Qinghai erupted in blue radiance. Countless waves surged forth, smashing into the black spirit domain and tearing open a gap. A speck of blue light shot from his hand, streaking through the opening and vanishing. Feng Tiandu whirled, sleeves sweeping as twin orbs of rune-filled black light fused back into the domain, sealing it and suppressing the surrounding blue radiance. Luo Qinghai sneered, forming seals as a shimmering blue barrier rose around him, waves flashing across its surface. Though it could not block the origin separation law chains, it held back the black light. "What did you do just now?" Feng Tiandu demanded coldly. Luo Qinghai did not answer. Before anything further could unfold, 2 droplets of silver light burst from the golden vortex, lightning crackling around them as they descended onto the palace roof. Blinding silver radiance engulfed the structure, its runes flaring with golden brilliance to resist it. Gold and silver clashed, dazzling all eyes. Meanwhile, at the stone gates in the valley's center, light flashed. A streak of blue shot out and shattered into a luminous screen, drawing everyone to their feet. The image revealed the moment the Dawnfall sect golden immortals had slipped into the palace. Those scoundrels! They claimed to explore the mountains, yet sneaked inside. The Dawnfall sect has broken the agreement. Fury erupted as all eyes turned toward the sole remaining Dawnfall sect cultivator, a rotund elderly golden immortal. Already prepared, he spun away in a blur of azure light and fled. No one pursued. Instead, the crowd exchanged grim glances before turning their attention back to the sealed entrance ahead. Fellow Taoists, the Dawnfall sect has already torn up the pact. In that case, we need not honor it either. The golden immortal of the Blaze Dragon Tao declared loudly. Almost as soon as the words left his mouth, he shot forward like a startled bird, clearly fearing interception by the vast flow palace. In a flash, he vanished beyond the stone gates. Yunni swept her gaze over the 4 golden immortals of the vast flow palace, then transformed into a streak of silvery light and followed him through the gates. The vast flow palace cultivators made no move to stop either of them. Thus, only the vast flow palace remained outside. They exchanged glances, then simultaneously formed hand seals, sending streams of incantation marks into the blue light screen. At that same moment, Luo Qinghai's voice transmission reached them. The blue light rippled, rapidly condensing into a shimmering blue door. "Guard the entrance," the fair-skinned scholar instructed calmly. The true immortals nodded at once. In the next instant, the 4 golden immortals flashed into the blue door. The door quivered, then began to dissipate. Just then, a burst of white light flared, and Yunni reappeared out of thin air, startling the vast flow palace true immortals. She did not spare them a single glance, instead darting into the fading blue door at the last possible moment. The door vanished completely, leaving the true immortals staring at one another in stunned silence. Within the palace, boundless silver radiance surged, then ebbed away like a receding tide. The golden glow that filled the hall also faded, signaling that yet another pill tribulation had been successfully endured. 2 dragon carvings on the pill cauldron opened their jaws, and 2 High zenith pills shot forth, instantly filling the palace with an intoxicating medicinal fragrance. A flash of greed flickered in Feng Tiandu's eyes. At that moment, two golden puppets appeared as if summoned by the void itself. They seized the pills and returned to hover beside the golden throne. "Are you all right, Junior Marshal Brother?" Feng Tiandu asked through voice transmission. Qi Tianxiao steadied his breathing. "I had to rely on a secret technique to escape that sea of fire. I'm somewhat drained, but I avoided serious injury." "We cannot leave empty-handed," Feng Tiandu replied coldly. "Luo Qinghai has surely alerted the Golden Immortals outside. Once they arrive, our situation will only worsen. We must seize the high zenith pills now." "But the restrictions in those statues are too strong for me alone," Qi Tianxiao said, frowning. "That's fine. Those gray statues may be powerful, but they lack adaptability. I'll distract them. You take the pills," Feng Tiandu said decisively. After a brief hesitation, Qi Tianxiao nodded. "I'll try once more." As they spoke in secret, Han Li glanced around. The situation inside the palace was deteriorating rapidly. Though he was confident he could eventually break free of the origin separation law chains binding him, it would take time, and remaining trapped any longer was clearly unwise. Just as Han Li hesitated, Feng Tiandu abruptly raised both hands, casting seals into two of the black chains binding Taoist Huyan and Ouyang Kuishan. The chains flared with light. Black runes poured out, condensing into a hazy black figure barely half a foot tall, a domain spirit. The moment it formed, it shot straight into Taoist Huyan and Ouyang Kuishan. Black patterns spread across their bodies at terrifying speed. Both men struggled desperately, circulating their law powers to resist, but it was futile. "Feng Tiandu, what have you done?" they shouted. In the blink of an eye, their bodies were completely covered in black markings, their auras drastically altered. The chains released them from the cage, dropping them to the ground, though a single black chain still connected to each of their dantians. "Go!" Feng Tiandu commanded. The two immediately rushed toward the pill cauldron. Qi Tianxiao's face lit up with joy, and he swallowed a restorative pill as a gray mist billowed from his body. Han Li instantly grasped Feng Tiandu's intent. His expression turned icy. He had long been close to Taoist Huyan, and the latter had just entrusted him with the next 3 levels of the mantra treasured axis. There was no way he could stand by and watch him be sacrificed. Golden light surged over Han Li's body, but before he could act, a blue door of light appeared at the palace entrance. The 4 vast flow palace golden immortals emerged, visibly stunned by the scene before them. A heartbeat later, Yun Ni followed, leaving them even more astonished. The instant Yun Ni entered the palace, her eyes locked onto Taoist Huyan. A colossal white snow lotus projection bloomed around her, and a strange flying sword shaped like a lotus stem appeared in her hand. Riding the lotus projection, she shot straight toward him without hesitation, as if the rest of the world no longer existed. "What devotion," Feng Tiandu sneered. 2 black chains lashed down from the barrier above, crossing midair as they hurtled toward Yun Ni. "Be careful," Taoist Huyan cried out. Yet Yun Ni did not slow. Though she sensed the danger above, she pressed forward even faster, unwilling to divert her course. Within Feng Tiandu's spirit domain, escape was impossible. Before she could reach Taoist Huyan, 2 more chains struck from either side. Together with those descending from above, every path of retreat was sealed. At that critical moment, brilliant golden light burst forth from Han Li's chest. The light flickered like a flame, then expanded into a golden barrier that enveloped the entire palace. Golden ripples spread through the air, radiating terrifying law power. As the chains struck these ripples, their speed dropped dramatically. A look of disbelief crossed Yun Ni's face as she slipped effortlessly through the gaps and arrived beside Taoist Huyan. "Well done, brat!" Taoist Huyan laughed, glancing back at Han Li. At this moment, only the 2 of them were unaffected by the golden spirit domain. Everyone else, Feng Tiandu, Luo Qinghai included, felt dense time law power pressing down upon them. Shock rippled through the palace. Fury twisted Feng Tiandu's features as he pointed at Han Li. A black chain shot from his sleeve, streaking straight toward Han Li's dantian. "Trying to seal my nascent soul again?" Han Li laughed coldly. "Didn't you learn last time?" A streak of azure light appeared before him. The azure bamboo cloud swarm soared. Golden lightning crackled along its blade as it slashed into the chain with a thunderous clang. The chain snapped instantly, dissolving into black mist that flowed back into the spirit domain. Impossible! Feng Tiandu exclaimed, staring at the sword in disbelief. One strike had severed his origin separation law chain. What he did not know was that this blade was formed from 3 fused azure bamboo cloud swarm swords, the limit of what Hanli could wield at once. Its surging sword chi far surpassed that of ordinary immortal treasures. All of this happened in a single instant. As the chain binding Hanli broke, the other chain was already inches from his abdomen. Yet Hanli vanished, activating the reversal true axis. His speed surged. He reappeared beside Jintong and cut through the chain, binding her with another swift slash. Feng Tiandu's face darkened further. Were he not bound to controlling the others, he would have attacked Hanli without hesitation. Luo Qinghai watched with a complex expression. Meanwhile, the vast flow palace golden immortals he had summoned moved sluggishly, suppressed by the overwhelming time law power of Hanli's spirit domain.